Welcome to Insert Title Here, the podcast hosted by a bunch of dudes who, if they went into a boxing match with a 41-year-old, would last a lot longer than 22 fucking seconds. My name is Adam, also known as Technical Cake Mix. Joining me, as per usual, are the other two idiots, you already know, and a special guest, who is back again, because we love him. Special guest, why don't you introduce yourself?
Is it really special at this point? This is like my fourth time.
Marc, you're always special to us.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to credit you, even if you become like a permanent, always on every episode fixture as featuring, so you're always special. That's
actually pretty sick. I enjoy that. Hey folks, I'm Marc. Again. They took the website down, so don't bother.
Oh, shitty Nora.
I am still on Twitter and Twitch, but yeah, they took the bang website down.
Was it too many bangs?
There was not enough banging, as a matter of fact.
Shit.
So I have to get you a new site, but 5 bangs this time, because I feel like 5 bangs is like just in that range, you know?
5 bangs is taken.
5 has always been like a good number.
It's taken.
5 bangs is taken. Mark Stone, bang.
Yeah, well, past 5, you get into the point of territory where it's like, it's a lot of bangs to remember, and then you get into that same situation that I brought up like during the last episode where you mistyped like the goggle.com situation. It's a malware site.
Oh, fun.
God, I smoked too much fucking weed before I started this podcast. My fucking throat just almost gave out while I was talking. I almost went on a coughing fit because just like revenge of the weed. It's like, oh, you just smoked 12 fucking weed? I'm Xander, by the way. Punish Satohara. I don't have a Twitter account.
Punish Satohara.
Yeah.
A man denied
did you not
Twitter
watch
account.
the last episode?
I did. Was that not taken?
I actually... I actually never tried that. Well, okay, so in order to appease the TOS of Twitter and still have a brand presence on there, Janet runs the account, technically speaking. So she just named it whatever. I don't like it. I don't mind the main thing saying Xander Mogus, but I don't like the @ being Xander Mogus because that's not Xander Mobus, you know? Like all those other guys on there who are Xanders and shit. It's like it's too close to, it's too many Xanders. The brand is Satohara. My soul is Satohara. My name is Alexander. You know, my friends call me Xander. I'm Alexander Mogus, you know, billionaire, playboy, in debt for $1 billion as well.
Doesn't that just even out?
Philanthropist, work at a soup kitchen.
Wait. Your name is Alexander?
Yes.
I thought your name was Cuntface.
No, that's my father's name.
Fair enough.
What a coincidence. That's my father's name too. And my name is Devon VO. And I do voice things and sometimes stream on Twitch, like when I do the funny haha randomizer in Resident Evil and scream like a bitch when the chainsaw
He's
ladies.
the master of segues.
I am.
Yeah, that was pretty smooth.
Thank you for interrupting me. So dick. I was gonna make a joke about how like the chainsaw women in Resident Evil 4 were surprisingly silent, and when one came up from behind and just chopped my fucking head off, I peed myself a little. For the first time, Resident Evil 4 made me actually genuinely terrified.
The NSA
guess, yeah.
couldn't torture that.
I have a very bad anecdote that my son's mom loves to share about Resident Evil 4 scaring the pants off of me. I once broke a Wavebird controller because Resident Evil 4 scared the shit out of me. I threw it at the TV and it just shattered.
Wait, what part? What part scared you like that?
I believe it is in between the village and the castle. When you're just in that period where you fight the giant dude and then you see Salazar go into the castle or some shit. I don't remember the game all that well because, again, I didn't really play it much. She played most of it. And at the time, she was maybe 6 or 7 months pregnant. And she was having some stomach pains and was just like, hey, can you just walk through this part for me? I'll tell you what to do. So she led me, through the area. I didn't have to do much combat. So I was ready in a false sense of security, thinking that would be the whole walk. And then I get to that door and then you hear that. And I'm thinking, shit, they're behind me. I better run into this room where it's safe. Except when I opened the door, they were on their way to open the door and come out, which surprised the shit out of me. So just on reflex, I jump up and hurl the Wavebird controller towards the TV, and it just splinters into 1,000 pieces. She cannot breathe. She's laughing so hard. To this day, she brings up that story anytime someone even says the words Resident Evil.
That's amazing.
Was this like a CRT TV?
It was a CRT TV, so those things were,
Okay, yeah, that makes
indestructible.
sense.
I just imagine you doing like
They're built different,
It's like
literally.
a flat screen, and not only the wavelet is like obliterating, but the TV just exploding like LCD fluid out.
No, it was a CRT. That thing laughed it off.
The main reason I miss CRTs is because me and my dad used to throw footballs at the fucking TV whenever like Ohio would lose, which was all the time because it's Ohio.
What the fuck is wrong with Oklahoma? Also, CRTs,
so-
what do you mean miss them? I got one right here. See?
Huh?
Right there.
He still has a CRT.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, well, lucky you.
You know, do you know what? I got it for $0.00. I found it on the side of the curb.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Actually, there's a lot of them, actually, I noticed on Craigslist, particularly if you live in a more built-up area, where people just get rid of them. That said, certain people are wising up now to certain models. Like, I think it's the Sony Trinitron people are wising up to, and now, like, yeah, you can have it. For $500.
Yeah, I was able to I was able to find Trinitrons for like 200 $200 and shit.
That's a good deal.
Like before, and like I wasn't able to get them because various states of I'm fucking poor, and other things like getting in the way and shit like that. But now they've not only increased in price naturally, but unfortunately our brother Linus at the Tech Tips did a video on the Trinitron, so they have gone up even more.
Put the awareness out there.
well, he did it on the he did it on the monitor, didn't he? The old PC monitor.
Yeah, and as a consequence, all Trinitrons have.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Am I
I'm
the
not gonna
odd?
fault the man for sorry.
I was gonna say, am I the odd one out because I really don't care about CRT TVs? I don't.
Well, I don't either. I don't
depends
want
on
one.
what you're
I don't
trying
really.
Yeah.
I don't play retro games. Well, that's not true. I do. But I don't play them the way they were originally produced or intended to be played, like on their original consoles or on a CRT. I emulate most of the shit that I made from back in the day.
Yeah, it depends on what you're trying to play as well, to be fair with you, because, like, don't get me wrong, there's certain games where, certain systems, which, unironically, you can upscale and it looks fine, but then you get particularly early 3D stuff. PS1 is notorious for it, and 64 as well, where the slight fuzziness of the CRT kind of gives a nice little effect to it, particularly, great example, Symphony of the Night. That portrait of Dracula, if you put it on a CRT, you'll see his eyes are fucking glowing, right? You put it on a LCD where everything's pixel perfect, he's just got red squares for eyes.
He's got that one little red square
Red
for
square,
an
yeah.
eye. It's literally a single pixel. I think my interest in CRTs is kind of unique because, like, I guess why I got interested in the old technology is definitely older video games, watching Retro Future, getting into, like, modifying Game Boy Advances and stuff, which then led me to buy a PS1 and then fix, like, multiple PS1s and start fixing shit and all that shit. My main interest in CRTs isn't necessarily because I want like a bunch of them or whatever. I want one just to play like PlayStation on, because that's just like dumb little boy memories, whatever. My main interest is there's a bunch of e-waste that's still usable, that we can fix, that we can fucking still use for a lot of really cool shit that still has valid purposes, because like CRTs are like they're a dead technology and they're not produced anymore, but they're still valuable in certain like industries and stuff, and they're just sitting there in landfills and dumps and shit, still fucking like being able to be used. And I'm really interested in taking technology and making sure that shit never goes to a landfill. Recycle it until it can't be fucking used anymore, and then break that shit down component by component to make it into new stuff.
I had this conversation recently with my mother-in-law's partner, because he was kind of like, what are they with all computers? Why are they so interested in recycling? And I was like, well, I'll be honest with you, Dave. Like, the main thing on it is even old processors, old sticks of RAM, everything that isn't really fast enough or hold up anymore, every single one of those things use the gold-plated connector. And you can take that gold off and immediately, hey, presto, you can reuse that, not necessarily infinitely. I forget how many times, I forget the tolerance of gold when it comes to being remelted down, but it's significantly higher than you'd expect it to be.
So
The
7.
only thing-
69.
Yeah.
That's way
I
higher.
Not a monster.
I think legit the only thing on a modern processor that can't be reused is the actual silicon itself. To give you an idea, like you can remelt down the nickel cap, you can melt down the aluminium, of course the copper can be reused, the gold can be reused. I think it's just literally the silicon itself cannot be used. Don't quote me on that though.
Quoting Adam on episode 40. Insert title.
Is this
here.
40?
AK.
Yeah, I
This
guess
is the
40.
big 4-0.
So
the big 4-0.
I am special. Let's
yeah,
feel special.
in 5 more episodes, we've got to buy a Jaguar or a Lamborghini or something stupid, shave our heads because we're going bald, and then I guess leave our wives and I don't know, fucking find some 18-year-old girl we met at a strip club who's clearly only in it for the money, but we're smiling through the pain, and then she eventually leaves us to someone more age appropriate, and we're left with even more debt and going, why, dear God, why? And then you finally reconcile with your wife, but she's already moved on to another man, and then, why, dear God, why do the kids not want to speak to me anymore? Why, dear God, why am I here? And then before you know it, you wind up in a lonely hotel room, you and a shotgun, and, you know, fucking Underneath the Bridge by Nirvana is playing, and... Fuck.
It's Don't Fear the Reaper. Don't Fear the Reaper is playing.
That was oddly
Nirvana had a
specific.
song called Under the Bridge.
Yeah, it's it's like the last song on Nevermind.
I think what you do is you get something that's really, really fucking cool, but you know it's way too cool for you to own it. Like that dude in his 50s who has a wall of samurai swords. Or,
yeah,
the guy who, traded in his car and all his shit that's reasonable for him to have to pick up guitar. Because that's going to be the way forward now for some reason.
That's his midlife crisis, yeah.
The only Under the Bridge I know is by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Or was it Underneath the Bridge? Underneath the
I think
You have this magical technology called the internet, and you can use it.
I'm looking it up. It's something in the way.
cheating.
Sorry, it's something in the way? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking of something in the way. That's what threw me off. Because I hear Under the Bridge, and then my brain's like... Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna totally blow my fucking brains out to fucking Red Hot Chili
You
Peppers.
hear a fucking funky like bass riff in the background.
Wait, Underneath the Bridge is the no, that's the sad one. That's the heroin recovery song.
I only have Don't Fear the Reaper in my head because I think I witnessed a bird suicide at work yesterday.
A bird suicide?
I don't know the specifics. All I know is we've had a couple of days of wind and rain. And there's like string and shit in the trees from, the debris getting blown up there. And I'm guessing that some string got around a bird's neck and it blew it off of the branch or whatever the hell it was resting on. And it looks like it straight up hung itself. And I could not get Don't Fear the Reaper out of my head ever since seeing that. And just to sort of give you an idea, I'm just going to post this in our little chat real quick. It is just hanging there.
Oh, God.
That was my reaction.
Oh, my... It is? What the fuck?
Mood.
Well,
That was the
damn.
most unsettling thing I saw.
Today.
That's incredibly unsettling, period.
Devon, did you just say today?
Yeah.
As if to imply
Right.
worse shit's about
What
to
do you know that I
happen?
don't?
Let's just say Apollo let me know a thing or two.
What, that
Random
believer
internet
team's
users and
apparently
the fucking gift of prophecy.
I'm getting sick of that happening, actually. It's starting to worry me.
Me too.
It is starting to worry me.
Soothsayers be gone.
It's not worrying me because it's less of like these people are predicting the future and more of so many people are on the internet saying and shit posting shit that eventually one of them's gonna get right.
Yeah,
And-
broken clock's right twice a day.
Enough shit gets thrown at a wall.
Yeah, broken cock is right twice a day.
They can't be broken. They can be sprained, but not broken.
No, that can be broken. It's a bone.
Okay. Let's get off the pain Olympics for a second here.
In the city I live in, the city of broken penis. I remember fucking Under the Bridge because that's the one that me and Devon bonded with a new group of friends with because we all just started singing it in the same car for no reason.
Fun fact, I cheated and had to look up the lyrics. I didn't know them that well at the time.
Oh no, I definitely noticed. Nobody else did though, and I just let it happen. I was
Yeah.
like, he likes the band. He doesn't need to.
I didn't know the lyrics.
If you would have just been like, I would have excused that. Like, I do that shit all the time.
I know you
like
do.
fucking Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses by Slipknot. I love that fucking album, and I've listened to it back to forward since I was a kid and shit. But like, even there's like lyrics on there where I'm just like, because I don't know what the fuck he's saying.
I think I just dig deep into my black heritage and become the ad-lib hype man, where everyone around me is singing. I'm just like, sing it. Tell them. You heard that? That's just me the whole time because I don't know the lyrics.
All right, Marc's on the next album. I need that energy in my life.
Oh man.
Jeez.
But did you guys? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Did you guys see the apparent Silent Hill leaks?
Oh,
Yeah,
Silent Hill Britain.
Don't. It looks so fucking. I know it's only 4 screenshots, but the fact it's apparently Bloober Team makes me very sad.
What team?
Bloober Team. They're the people behind Layers of Fear.
Were they the one that you went on a rant about?
Yeah, I literally. So here's Adam shilling for a quick second. In the Outlast video from 2017, 16. In the Outlast video, I literally paused the video. I paused the review of Outlast mid-video to go on about how much I fucking hate Layers of Fear and just lay into it. And since then, they haven't really done much of note since. It's literally all these people do are fucking walking simulators. Now, apparently, the newest one, because wife played it through, I think it's called The Medium, is apparently actually quite alright. That said, it's still combat free and still the usual walking simulator bollocks. And I was looking at the screenshots and like they've literally just made those passive aggressive notes you see in the Office place and made them into like fucking horror simulator. And I'm like, oh no. Plus they've also clearly ripped off Resident Evil 7's aesthetic with the decrepit falling apart room. And I'm just like, are you guys for real right now? Like you guys, they got famous off of Layers of Fear, which itself was just a massive rip-off of PT.
7.
And now you're telling me you're going to do Silent Hill being a rip-off of Resident Evil 7 with passive-aggressive notes from The Office with the word Minga written on it? Congratulations, you fucking talentless fucking hacks.
You see, I took a look at that, and I just thought this is just your average flat that you'd find in like one of the rougher parts of London. But I mean,
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, it does look like Kensington. It really does look like Kensington.
That's what most of the replies said as well.
Jesus.
Like, oh, this is just Leeds.
Oh, it's grim up north. Oh, it's grim up north. But fucking hell, I saw it. Like, I just want to go off on this for a second because I don't get why people constantly give Bloober Team a pass. They have no idea what the fuck they're doing. They've got no original ideas in their fucking body. Every fucking thing they've done is clearly ripped off of something else. And it's not even funny at this point. And yet people constantly give them a pass because, oh, it's so different than the original. No, fucking Layers of Fear was a complete fucking failure on every front because it wasn't fucking scary at all. The whole thing was literally just, oh, doors will shake occasionally, and maybe this handle will rattle, maybe things get thrown across the room, but that's about it. You're in no real danger. There is no consequence to fucking up. There is no consequence for you charging in like a moron. There's no consequence for you taking your time either. There's just, what's the fucking point? The one time you can actually die, it telegraphs it. The big sign that popped up saying, don't turn around. So I just walked through, and what did I not do? Well, it says, don't turn around, so I just carried on walking there.
I think I know why they get away with it, Adam.
How do you get away with it?
Their name's kind of funny. I mean, Bloober.
Actually, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Every time you say Bloober Team, any of the points that you're making, where I'm like, yeah, he's making a really good point. He then says Bloober Team, I'm like, fuck that point. What?
That's a silly ass name.
Bloober Team? That's hilarious.
It is a silly ass name.
God damn it. Like, of all the people I would give Silent Hill to, one, I wouldn't actually do anybody, because I don't trust fucking Konami to do it properly, regardless who they give it to. It would not be goddamn Bloober Team.
Yeah, he did it again.
Yeah,
Sorry to go on this rant in the podcast, but...
I give it to David Jaff of God of War fame.
No.
Yeah, he'd make a great Silent Hill or whatever. You wouldn't have to shoot a very obvious thing to progress through something. So even I could get through it.
I think I would. I realized the joke you're making there pretty quickly, by the way. I'm just gonna.
I almost made a Game Grumps joke too, but I still kind of like them. So,
I would give it to anymore,
but it would really help Aaron too.
Actually, tell I know actually who I would give it to, who I think will actually probably do alright with it, because they are surprising at the subtle stuff. Red Barrels might be someone I'd give it a whirl to.
I have to just make a confession. So I'm not really engaging with this conversation a whole lot because I honestly have not played any of the games that you were talking about. I also have never actually played a Silent Hill game outside of, like, I guess, PT. So.
Oh.
I just don't do horror games in general.
Yeah, so I just don't do horror fiction. It's
Same.
Just, I look at it and I'm like, this isn't real. And it doesn't.
I'm easily scared.
And I know that's not the point. That's not the point of horror, is to be like, oh, this isn't real or whatever. But for whatever reason, I just have this dumb, it's probably autism, mental disconnect where it's like, I like Alien, not because Alien's terrifying or psychologically thrilling, but because the alien's cute. Honestly. I want the alien to win. It's adorable. And then Aliens, I'm like, yeah, there's multiple aliens. They're adorable. And then Alien 3, there's one alien again, and it's adorable, but you don't see it a whole lot, so I don't really like that movie. And then Alien Resurrection, you see them a lot, but they look bad, and they're CGI rendered half the time. And also, you know, that whole script is kind of ruins it. They're not really cute in that one. But then Alien versus Predator, there's that one hero alien where he's got like the grid pattern on, and he's adorable. And I'm like, cool, you know, I'll watch this one. This movie sucks. Like, Alien versus Predator 1's objectively one of the worst fucking Alien movies. And one of the worst Predator movies.
Wait, the second one?
But it also doesn't have the autism plot line in it, so it gets a pass.
There's a second Alien versus Predator movie?
Yeah, there's
We
two
don't
of them.
talk
So
about it. We
the
don't talk
first
about
one's the PG-13 movie. The second one's the good one, in my opinion. I give it a B+ out of 10. Fucking so okay, Adam. I'm sorry to derail the Silent Hill thing. We'll circle back to it. We circled back in the last episode to Bionicle when I talked about Sonic Adventure 2. We're fucking in Alien vs Predator 2 Requiem. It's rated R. And it's needlessly gory, and a bunch of the characters are the worst ever. They just suck. You just hate every single one of them. Immediately a kid dies and gets fucking chest bursted, and you're just like, awesome. And then fucking the Pred alien at the end of the first one comes down and like is apparently a queen. But instead of laying eggs, it mouth fucks people and implants chest bursters into them by mouth fucking them.
Fucks implies consent. That is not fucking.
And then there's this whole plot line where this kid who sucks, who is a delivery driver and sucks, likes this girl at this high school because I guess they're teenagers or something. And then it's boring, and his brother's a cop, and he sucks. All the characters suck. And then this one Predator's like, I'm looking for the Pred alien and trying to get rid of all the evidence, and he just sucks at his job so fucking horribly. Like they have these whole like long shots where he's like getting rid of evidence and like methodically getting rid of everything, while at the same time the aliens are rampaging in the city already. Fucko, you dumb fuck. Get rid of the evidence after you neutralize the fucking problem first. You fucking. Okay, I don't like predators as a species. Their whole, ooh, we want to hunt cool creatures. It's fucking stupid. It doesn't make sense as a culture. Aliens mouth fucking people in order to create more aliens makes sense because they're not fucking sentient. They're creatures. But my entire culture is hunting people, and I can't even bother to contain a singular event in this human. I think his name's Wolf. Fuck you, Wolf. Predator Wolf. Anyway. There's a scene where the Pred alien queen goes into this hospital full of pregnant women. Is everybody's fucking like evacuating and stuff, and the power goes out, and this one pregnant lady who's like has this huge belly, she's like, "Oh, are we gonna be okay?" And the nurse is like, "We're gonna be fine. The emergency generator's like, you know, whatever." And then the Pred alien walks in and mouth fucks all the pregnant women, and then a scene later, like fucking 6 chest bursters pop out of this fucking woman's like belly, and having eaten the fetus and shit. And just like killing everything. Just it's needlessly violent and shit. And then somehow the climax takes place in the high school because I guess sure they needed to go to the high school to have the final battle. And then the Predator trying to kill an alien accidentally kills the bitch that the main dude's interested in. Like just straight up kills her. She gets fucking just garroted with the fucking disc and hung up on a wall. And it's just gory as fucking. It's amazing. And I'm just like, I watched this in the theater with my mom and my sister when I was like in high school. And my sister's still in like fucking middle school. And it's an empty fucking theater. So I'm screaming at this point. I'm like, that bitch just got got! Oh my God! My mom's like, she's done telling me to shut up at this point because she's realized the futility of it. I'm enjoying this movie and she's not. She might as well enjoy my reactions. And fucking, like everybody's trying to like escape or whatever, and then the United States Army is like, nuke it. And like instead of like in every other movie where it's like, oh, we stopped the nuke goes off, they nuke it. Everybody fucking dies. There's like 3 survivors on a helicopter. The cop gets fucking blown off in the face by a fucking predator cannon and some shit. And the helicopter blows off, and it crashes, and they all die too. Everybody fucking dies. All the aliens die, all the predators die, all the survivors die, everybody dies. Nothing that happened mattered. It's the most brutal and gory and fucking needless fucking sequel. And then at the end, the bitch Wutani, like they literally made Wutani an actual character in a spin-off corporation that hasn't yet merged with the Wayland Corporation for some fucking reason because it's stupid. They were like, here's a predator shoulder cannon. And it's like, we're going to make a 3rd one. And they never did. Anyway, Silent Hill is in Britain.
So after that Spurgfest, Flipping back to what I was saying, recommendations for both of you looking for a good horror game to get into the genre, something that's short, sweet, yet will get the point across very effectively. I'd recommend Outlast, the first Outlast.
I heard that's actually
You get it
really fucking scary.
PC. It's very intense. It's very short bursts. It's about 4 hours long. It's very short bursts of very intense everything. It's more about running and hiding than anything else.
Oh, perfect.
And it's also a phenomenal mindfuck if you're into history at all. The ending finale, when kind of everything is revealed to you what's going on, it's a complete and utter mindfuck. But like, I think Red Barrels might be one of the few people I trust with something like Silent Hill, because I haven't had a chance to dig into Outlast 2 too deeply, but it seems to be they're very comfortable going to like a character's mind and what actually scares them and really getting into that nitty gritty like Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3 do. But they're also comfortable enough in the modern format of just, going crazy what they can currently do. Like Silent Hill 1, if you play that game on the original PlayStation 1 version, it's very clearly held back by the technology of the time. 2's considered the masterpiece because it just goes haywire.
That's what I hear.
2 has the dog ending, right?
2 has the dog. They've all got a comedy ending, yeah. 2's got the one with the Shiba Inu, though.
Okay, yeah, that's the good one.
3 has a very different vibe to it. 3's a direct sequel to 1. Like, Devon, is it 20 years later after 1?
I'm not the person to ask. I've only ever played the first Silent Hill. Ally knows way more about Silent Hill than I do.
But you understand with those first 4 Silent Hill games, the team that made them, the reason why those games stick with people, why they resonate, and why they hit the notes they do so damn well, particularly on the topics they cover. What's this?
He just scratched Tifa's titty.
Oh, fair enough. The reason why they hit the topics they do so damn well is that the team itself was basically made up of people who'd been kicked off other projects in Konami for whatever reason. It was literally made up of rejects from other teams or people who'd complained to HR one too many times and kind of got forced over to this other project. So the reason why it hits those notes so well and why it resonates with people so well is because it was made in those circumstances. Like, it was literally being made by people who kind of, part of them I think wanted to get one up on Konami, part of them wanted to prove that, hey, we can actually fucking do something worthwhile here, and the other part of it was also definitely kind of like, ultimately kind of just them getting something off of their chest, particularly in the Japanese work culture, them just clearly getting something out. And then of course eventually that team did split up and go different directions. Like I think a lot of the people who worked on Silent Hill 2, 3, and 4 are now working at Capcom. I think it's no secret that I think one of the lead developers of that game worked on Resident Evil 7 and 8. A bunch of them are elsewhere, just kind of thrown to the winds. I think the guy who did the music actually did work with Bloober Team recently on the medium and stuff. But yeah, it's thoroughly recommend those games. Do not trust Bloober Team with a fucking inch of it because they do not understand subtlety. They don't understand subtlety.
Bloober.
You keep saying Bloober Team and I can't. I lose like all
We'll call them the Polish people. I don't trust the Polish people.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
They're about to join NATO. You can't say that anymore.
Shit, yeah.
Is Adam secretly a Russian like spy, a sleeper agent?
Comrades, don't get me out! Come get me out! No, I don't trust them because they don't understand how to be subtle at all. They don't understand a fucking thing about how to be like meaningful or harrowing. All they know is how to throw shit at once and go, oh look, it's deep and meaningful because it's all at once. And like that's not deep and meaningful at all. That's literally shock tactics. And while don't get me wrong, that works for certain things, you have to build up to it. You can't just throw shock everything. I mean, great example, Dawn of the Dead. Something I know, like me and Devon have watched a fair few times. That end scene in the mall where everything is going to shit, the bikers have raided, everything's going down, and people are starting getting eaten, right? And you see the scene where everyone's just getting torn apart. That's shock value right there, but that's after 2 and a bit hours of slow burn and very much building up to it, and it's already made its point. It's already kind of been through that, and this is basically a shock value payoff. It also starts off with some shock value as well at the very beginning, but before then you've got the racist cop going on about this, that, and the other, and how they've got it better than I do, and I'm paying $2,500 a month in downtown Philadelphia for my shit. Great film, by the way. Thoroughly recommend it.
I have a good example of building up to the shock value in video game form with fucking Cyberpunk and the whole entire fucking quest line that ends in that one thing that happens in the bathtub, and you're just like, oh my fucking god. And you put the controller down and go take a shower, but the shower gets cold before you get clean. But the thing is, you're never gonna get clean.
Well, the ending that I got for Cyberpunk also did that for me.
I got a good one. I'll be honest. That one made me like really. The one I got made me really hopeful, and I went immediately to work and was like, life is cool for about an hour before I was like, Seattle sucks.
I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
What the fuck is happening? For like a solid hour.
Yeah. You know who should take over Silent Hill? Naughty Dog, because they made the greatest horror game of all time, The Last of Us Part 2.
That was a family-friendly game.
Hey Xander, I'm resigning from the podcast.
That's okay. We have Marc. I'll call this one Adam died again.
I think my biggest hot take is I genuinely enjoyed The Last of Us Part 2.
I haven't played either game. I think I probably enjoyed them. I played them. We had this conversation a few weeks ago why I tend to wait for the vitriol to die down around things before even looking at it. That's definitely one of those I'm going to give it 5 years.
For sure, you are on the completely in the right to do that with this game. Absolutely.
Yeah. Specifically Part 2,
Yeah.
because, like, Jesus Christ, there's so much vitriol around that one. I personally don't like it, but, like, most of the criticism around it is bullshit.
There
I
are
have
valid
one with
reasons
PS4.
to dislike it. There are some actual valid criticisms towards it, and none of it comes from the people who are whining about characterization or the butchification of certain characters and stuff. There are some valid criticisms.
That's typical, yeah.
But also, from a gameplay and mechanical perspective, it's fun as fuck. It takes everything that was good about the first one and just cranks it up a little bit.
Yeah. My only issue is, like, the segregation of the gameplay and storyline. It's my same issue with Ghost of Tsushima. Is like hey, this is bad, but it also forces you to
do the bad
It's
thing,
like,
and it makes your character have moments where, when you're not controlling the character, that's when you decide to have those inward reflections about this is the thing that I don't want to be doing. And then once the control is back in your hands, you have to do those things that they don't want to be doing. And they don't ever mention it while you're doing it. It's only during the scenes where they have to have that introspection. So that's a valid criticism about the game. That's valid.
Yeah, that's
And
my
this is
main
why you need
issue
to play
with it.
Silent Hill 2, because it covers that theme very heavily.
Yeah. That's another thing Cyberpunk did right. If I'm gonna keep sucking Cyberpunk's dick for the rest
You're
of
right.
my life, is fucking you don't have to kill a single person the entire game. And never once does it moralize either fucking way about it either. It lets you just decide. And it's just, all right, this is my character. This is how I do
Yeah,
it.
it doesn't do the infamous thing where there's like a good meter and an evil meter, and you have to sort of either balance that out or lean to one side by the end to get a certain ending.
Doesn't Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man 2 do that as well? It gives you,
does.
an infamous meter. or
It
some
does. And
I like
Wait,
it in
I think that, like, crime is higher when you're a hero, but when you're like a quote unquote villain, crime is lower. But the crime that you do get is more difficult. It's really weird.
that sounds stupid.
It's so dumb.
But yeah, no, I have Last of Us Part 1. I had the PS4 version because someone gave me a code for it forever ago. Installed it, never played it. I'll go around to it eventually. It's on my to-do list. Speaking of Naughty Dog, I mean, as much as we joke about like PlayStation exclusives, I did have a very good time with the Uncharted games.
Those are great games.
Thorough recommendation. Yeah, thorough recommendation. By the way, play the PS4 versions. Is it Blue Point? It's the developer who did the remakes of those. They did an amazing job. Everything's at 60 frames per second. Everything runs really well. They fixed the shooting and cover combat in 2 and 3 particularly. It's mwah.
Blue Point is actually
Fourth one's
pretty good.
as
They
well.
got a pretty good reputation for remakes and remasters.
Yeah. 4's also really good. Very, very pretty game. Probably. Would you say it's would you say it's the best looking game of last generation? It's definitely up there. It's
No,
not
it's
the
up
best
there
looking
though.
game of last
I also
generation,
need to
no.
play 4,
Yeah.
and the
very good
side game with the ladies.
Played that one as well. Yeah, the side game's really good as well. It's short, but you know, I'm surprised it wasn't like a DLC campaign for 4. I thought it was going to be, and then they said, "Oh, you can buy it. It's $20 for the disc." I'm like, "All right, I'll just buy the disc then because it's fun. It's a good time." You get more of the ladies, particularly the I forget her name from 4. The
I want to
security.
I want to
chief
say
from
Nadine, but that sounds wrong.
4. Nadine's in the game, but I think that's the British girl.
I have the PS4 trilogy collection. I have never played them.
Oh, thoroughly recommend it. Very good, very fun.
I got
It's
it for
India.
like, I got it for like a couple bucks when I first got out of homelessness. I was like, oh, dope. I've always wanted to play these. And then I spent 300 hours in Final Fantasy 15.
God, you're such a dork.
Respectable.
Fucking good game.
So another game that gets a lot of negative press that I think was really great. Ending
Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, that game's
Yeah, I love that game.
that game's ending had on the floor in tears.
That game's ending had me in tears, had my wife in tears, and moved us both so much that our wedding song was literally the Florence and the Machine version of Stand By Me.
I listened to that version of the song on the train home. It's just really good.
Yeah.
Florence Welch, by the way,
Motherfuckers-
immensely underrated artist.
Absolutely. Like I was literally I had tears in my eyes when me and my wife were dancing to that song. Like, and it's just it got me.
It's a cool.
Motherfuckers react weird to the story because they want everything to be fucking explained to them. They're like, duh, it doesn't make sense because they didn't fucking have 2 hours of exposition about how the fucking crystal thing works and does this thing. It just jumped right to the point as if it were a fucking classical story. Huh. Shut the fuck up.
I'm pretty sure it's
Sorry.
both explained in game and in the Kingsglaive movie.
Yeah, Kingsglaive sucks. I'm gonna
It
be
did
honest.
suck.
Okay, cool. The first time I watched it was before 15 came out. I was like, I tried to pretend like I liked it because I was trying to be like optimistic because all of, like the bad news about 15 in the background and shit. Plus, I was homeless. I was like, I needed to latch onto something at that time.
I know.
And I watched it. I was
I
like,
get what you mean.
Whew.
I had to trick myself into believing that Kingsglaive was good because that was going to be what sated my hunger for Final Fantasy 15. I had to believe that movie was good so that the hype that I had for 15 was relevant. And it just
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that to myself. 15 was good on its
Plus,
own.
like Aaron Paul's the main character. It's like how is it a bad movie? You know, that's what my brain's saying. It's like you love Breaking Bad. It's like yeah, but I don't love fucking God, what was it? Need for Speed? I don't love Need for Speed. He's the protagonist of that one.
I forgot that's a thing that came out.
Yeah, you remember Xbox on. Hi, I'm Aaron Paul, protagonist of the new movie Need for Speed in theaters and Xbox off. Connect.
I remember trying to convince myself for like a week that I enjoyed The Last Jedi. Yeah, that was like a week.
I did enjoy The Last
I
Jedi.
wasn't sure because I was listening to like people to like. What was weird to me about it was there was no one talking about it on the internet after it came out, and I thought this is weird. When Force Awakens came out, there was everyone talking about it and what they liked and didn't like. With that one, it was like silent. No one was out there intentionally trying to spoil it. It was just silent. It was like a
You
stunned,
fucking
like,
kidding me? I got it spoiled from me the first day. This dude in my fucking office was like, hey, did you see The Last Jedi? I was like, no. He goes, oh, cool. So Luke dies right at the end, right? And I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, you motherfucker. Everybody on the internet I saw was fucking spoiling the shit out of that immediately.
Oh no, it didn't happen to me. I managed to avoid it for like a month.
Yeah, I saw it
went and
as well.
So
I mean, I don't think
So I
I
guess
saw the
I'm-
movie the night it released. So I did my usual maneuvering around certain topics and keywords.
Oh,
yeah.
you know what? Actually, I didn't see it in theaters. In fact, I didn't watch it at all until it was on Netflix, and I watched it, and it never got spoiled for me.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so Devon's with me on this one, yeah. Because I was like a month and a half before I went and watched it, and like I remember walking out the theater and turning to the wife and saying, I kind of miss JJ, and then going home thinking, did I like that? Did I like that? Then I watched the ITH video on it, and I'm like, did I like that though? And then like I just remember like thinking about it, and like for like
The
a
ITH
week and a
video?
half, after, ITH fucking IHE.
That's right. Before the podcast started, me and Xander had our own little video series where we would review movies that we hated, and the biggest one apparently was Last Jedi.
It's like
Yeah, my opinions on it were entirely formed by other people's opinions because I didn't watch it until like 2 or 3 years later, and then I was like, oh wow, that was way better than fucking Rise of Skywalker.
it was a video that was so hot and so widely debated that the podcast didn't have another episode until like 2021.
Exactly.
We got canceled before cancel culture was a cancel.
Like it's fucking. While I agree, The Rise of Skywalker is the worst film in that entire pile. Actually, no. Attack of the Clones is the worst overall one, but
Oh yeah,
No,
absolutely.
that's
no,
fair.
Yeah.
100%.
That's fair.
Yeah.
in the Disney pile, we'll say the Disney pile. Like I still to this day am thinking to myself, wow, The Last Jedi is the one that like did the damage, isn't it? That's the one that kind of just fucked the whole thing up.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
I
Maybe
feel
you
like
That
shouldn't-
Solo came out and Solo bombed because people were fed up of this shit, and they had to retcon a bunch of shit with Last Skywalker. Last Skywalker is not as that bad if Last Jedi doesn't happen.
I was gonna say, like, here's the thing. Maybe you shouldn't switch directors in the middle of a fucking trilogy.
yeah.
I understood what they were trying to do because they wanted a different. They did the same thing in the original trilogy. They had 3 different directors, 3 different films. I understood what they were trying to do, and it was just based around schedules. However, they had the same fucking writer
Yeah.
the whole way through.
They had the same vision.
That was
as
the
well.
big difference. Yeah, like that was the big fucking difference.
Because like,
And
say what you want about the prequels, because they do. Who boy.
there's
those are
problems
bad.
there too.
What's the
Oh,
matter?
that's a
Do
lot
you
of
not
fun.
like learning about the tax, like, negotiations
But that's
and
the
the
thing.
Trade,
That
Trade
is the thing,
Federation?
Devon. That might not be interesting, but that has a point to the entire arc of the story. It's part of the vision. It, at the very least, is a planned out beginning, middle, end story. Like it is an arc that was planned.
It was.
You know? Like, so even if George wouldn't have directed all 3 of them, even if he would have got different directors, it would have largely went the same way as like the arc went, because it had that vision behind it and shit. Whereas the sequel trilogy didn't. I don't really like J.J. Abrams anymore because of reasons, but like, he could have at least gave us an entire outline instead of just the mystery box of the first one. Because, like I've said before, probably on the podcast, when me and Devon walked out of the first one, Force Awakens, I looked at him and I was like, do I like that? And then had to convince myself I did like that. Until now, I'm like, no, I fucking hate Force Awakens.
I walked out of The Force Awakens,
really
like,
like Force
did I just watch A New Hope in 4K?
See, that's the thing. I really like Force Awakens, but I was like, yeah, this is just a New Hope. But I got it. I get what they were doing. That was familiar enough for old fans to keep everyone happy, to not do what the prequels did. But then the mystery box element was basically saying, hey, whoever comes after me, have fun. And then Rian Johnson came and did the worst possible thing he could have done, which was take all of those mystery boxes, instead of answering them or continuing them on for a third film, or, you know, setting things up or moving things around, just went, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That
that's
could have
literally
worked.
the worst thing you could have done.
It could have worked.
It could have worked, but he spent a third of the movie at bare minimum on the fucking casino plot that went nowhere. And everybody's like, oh, that matters. And it's like, I like The Last Jedi. So what I'm about to say is not about to go on a fucking boomer anti-just SJW fucking purple-haired women feminism rant or any of that dumb shit. I like the movie, but the casino plot is fucking entirely useless. The character who does the mouth thing makes me want to die. And Benicio del Toro's character, that is.
Yeah.
And you could have done the emotional crux of that storyline and like done the thing that they were trying to do within the context of them being on the ship and kept it connected to the rest of the thing. You could have had the ABCD plot going on without it being the stupid disconnected thing that went nowhere. And you could have set up more ideas. Because if you're going to erase a lot of things and say this doesn't matter, you need something else to set up so the next guy has something. So that way, if the fans do revolt, at the very least there's at least a blue point. Blue point? I can't talk.
Blueprint.
Yeah, there's at least something to go off of. But you get rid of everything. You make the statement, let the past die, but then don't give them a future.
See,
And then they freak the fuck out.
And if it had been the third one with that motto, it'd been fine. But like, oh god, I'm not going to get into the online discourse around it. Apart from just stating again, Rian Johnson is a complete wanker. But like, that film did not need space umbrage. That film did not need the casino plot. I'm going to say something a little controversial as well. It did not, and I repeat, did not need the entire fucking side plot with Poe Dameron. Like,
That's one of the worst
Well,
plots of the fucking movie.
Counterpoint, the Poe Dameron thing works only in the context that Poe and Finn were both learning lessons throughout the movie that they then had to impart onto each other, which was great. That aspect of it did work. Where Poe,
but they did that in the first film though.
not quite. And I'm fed up with the way Finn was treated across all 3 movies, but at least in The Last Jedi, where he has to learn finally to not be the coward and run away and stuff. I think the way they messed it up is that he kind of goes overboard with it, as if him sacrificing himself was supposed to be the big heroic moment that makes his character likable, when his character was already likable. All they had to do.
I he also did that at the end of the last one. He did it at the end of the first one. He gets a lightsaber and he goes to fight Kylo before Rey shows up.
Yeah,
So it's like
the best
like,
scene
he'd
of that
already done
entire
it.
movie. Like literally the best
he'd
scene of
already
that
done
entire
it.
fucking movie.
And they give him they make that same character flaw 2 movies straight, as if to just be an anchor point for Poe's arc in that movie, where he has to learn to not be the hot-headed badass hero and learn to make the smart play. That's a great lesson for him to have learned. It just didn't need to come at the cost of Finn's characterization. If I could also offer another controversial take, I kind of like Space Umbridge. I thought she was pretty cool, and I like.
Do I not remember who Space Umbridge is? Is that the? Oh wait, that's the. That was that the. What's her name?
She's the one lady that every fucking anti-SJW fucking video that likes to target The Last Jedi goes, the fucking purple-haired SJW
no,
lady.
I like her. I liked her too. Like I get why she did what she did in the film. Like people don't like her.
No,
I
yeah,
don't like
she's
her.
typically the largest.
I do not like her. No, I don't like her, but it's just literally because her character is literally just Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter.
I don't.
It's not even.
I disagree
literally
with
Dolores
the Umbridge comparison, because Umbridge
me
is
too.
literally just I'm evil for the sake of being evil. I feel like
Umbridge is lawful evil. This character is also lawful evil.
no,
She's not evil
Umbridge
at
is
all.
not lawful evil.
She is lawful evil. She's literally writing the law to her own advantage, as well as then twisting the law to get what she wants. That is the definition of lawful
Okay,
evil.
but what the I don't even remember her name, but I remember for a fact that she was doing this thing she was doing to save everybody, to get them out of there.
Right, and then intentionally not explaining a damn thing to everyone, where she spent 5 minutes and went, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Give me a minute on
here's
this.
the thing.
Let me see what's going on for
Explained
2 seconds.
everything to everybody. If they explained everything to everybody, then they would have tried to stop her. That's why she did
They're
it.
also
That's a common fucking trope.
Well, the best part is, here's the problem. Right at the very fucking end, when she does this, when everyone goes, oh, okay, and the motivation actually wasn't that bad until she goes and kills herself, and everyone's like, all right, whatever.
Well, also, they're being followed by the First Order, and nobody understands how at this point. So, logically, in her mind, I don't want to let what I'm doing out in case there's a leak and someone's funneling them information.
too.
The other thing is, every single time Poe goes up and questions her about what the plan is and if she's in command, she has every right not to answer to her subordinates. She doesn't need to explain why she's doing the things that she's doing, especially if she's under the assumption that there's a leak. So it's not that she was.
And then, of course, then she ends up ignoring the cult of personality around that particular subordinate, and nothing matters by the end of it.
That's the worst part. That ultimately, by the end, none of it fucking matters.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the individual points are like good ideas, like Poe learning a lesson and fucking like I like the character of like the lady and all that stuff, whose name I can't remember. So obviously I'm doing a very good job. I've seen the movie once, okay.
I've also seen it once.
But fucking
Yeah, I think I watching in the theater. I had the Blu-ray, and I'm like, no.
But like a lot of it I feel like could have been better as well, as a fan of a lot of the stuff that happens in there, because like Poe needs to learn the lesson, but you can do it without character assassination, without a plot that goes nowhere, without like circling back on stuff. Finn can learn lessons and be a useful character without a useless plot, without introducing characters that go nowhere and all that stuff. And like a lot of people would defend like the stuff like the point is it goes nowhere. The point is that like sometimes you just can't do something. Sometimes you just fail, but you can do that in a way that makes more narrative sense and in a way that's more satisfying to the viewer. Those just don't work for me.
Especially if it's the midpoint of a trilogy. You kind of want to build up this idea that the heroes can fail and sort of bring that sort of feeling of despair onto them. So that by the third movie, by the climax of the whole arc, it's that much more fulfilling and rewarding when they finally overcome that adversity.
Yeah. Like the best movie in the entire Star Wars series, The Empire Strikes Back.
Ends on a downer.
I was actually going to make a point as well. Like, it's kind of funny that Disney did learn that lesson. I think Star Wars got the guinea pig treatment for that, because I know Zana's not the biggest fan of it, but the final 2 Avengers films, Infinity War and Endgame.
So I don't like Endgame,
they did it
but I love
perfectly with
Infinity War. And yes, you are correct. Infinity War's fucking use of that shit is amazing. If they would have ended the entire fucking series on Infinity War, I would have been like, all right, cool. That's amazing.
Like, I know he's not the biggest fan of Endgame. I quite like Endgame a lot, but like my point is, they did exactly that. They learned their lesson, and I almost wonder if Star Wars got guinea pigged for that. Because they just went, yeah, oh yeah, we saw how this went here, and Rian, you're not getting your trilogy anymore, wanker. But hey, Russo brothers, don't do this, all right? But apart from that, have fun.
I think you might be onto something. Given the internet's backlash to Captain Marvel and how diminished her role was in Endgame because of it, speaks volumes to how much they listen to fan criticisms after shit like The Last Jedi.
Gonna stand by it. Captain Marvel, not that bad overall. I mean, it's typical Marvel fare, but like it should have been in Phase 1, not Phase 3.
Yeah,
if it was in Phase 1, no one would have cared.
We can agree that the movie is not great, but also not terrible, and then also
that's
that
fine.
the criticism was largely unwarranted.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it
it's
didn't
fine.
at all justify all of the hate and vitriol that the actress, I keep forgetting her name,
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson,
Brie
that she
Larson.
got. None of that was deserved.
Yeah, she deserved
none of that was deserved.
Continues to
Okay.
get-
Okay. I'm just going to say this. I didn't like Captain Marvel. I'm not going to go on my Captain Marvel rant. I'm just going to say I didn't like the film. It has nothing to do with the character Captain Marvel. I quite like Captain Marvel as a character in the Marvel universe. And it's nothing against the character or anything like that, but I would have enjoyed the film more if it didn't spend every 5 minutes going, oh my gosh, look, this movie takes place in the 90s. Remember Blockbuster? Remember pagers? Remember slow internet loading? Remember having to call people in a phone booth?
Yeah.
Remember this? It's like, shut up.
Yeah, don't get
Shut
me
up.
wrong. My defense of the film is not me saying it's good. I hate it. I hate that fucking movie. But also, you know,
I would have liked it more if it just didn't, if it just tried to actually like be a movie and not a 90s.
It could have just
I
been
do have a big critique
this
of
is
it.
who Captain Marvel is. This is why Nick Fury is contacting her. That on its own would have been perfect without all of the extra shit added onto it.
Yeah.
I do have a huge criticism of it though, and that is that they took away her character flaws from the comic books. Particularly, it took away the fact that she is a totalitarian when it comes to the rules.
Yeah.
She'll, and if she thinks she's right, she'll go all the way to the fucking edge of the goddamn earth.
She almost
Like,
in
Civil War 2 is a great example.
Yeah,
of that.
okay, we're going
Yeah,
the
please
same
read
route
Civil War
where
2
she-
if you want a phenomenal example of this, because she almost kills the kid because of something he
might
might
do.
do that she saw in a vision, like that he hasn't even done yet. Like, perfect
No,
fucking
the
example. of a
kid
character flaw.
specifically, Miles Morales.
Morales, yes.
Yeah, which is another big deal because he's a young black man.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she's going to arrest or potentially kill a young black man for a crime that he did not commit and may not even commit.
Yeah.
So that's a big fucking deal.
And they removed this character flaw from her because I don't know, because you could have easily done that with the scroll. When I heard, they're doing scrolls, that's perfect. You know, I mean, she gets paranoid, she starts seeing scrolls in her soup. They make the whole thing about, they're making kind of like a comparison to like the Red Terror and stuff. And not the Red Terror. Wow,
Red Scare.
really different thing now.
Scare.
Red Scare. I say Red Terror. Americans, do your history research. Look that up. Red Scare. Sorry. Well, apologies again. But they could have easily done that, and they didn't. She just starts punching grannies on the bus, and they kind of make a joke about it. But then Granny turns into a scroll.
See, the only thing I know about Captain Marvel, or Miss Marvel, I should say, for me, was I remember that in the X-Men cartoon, Rogue sucked the power out of her, and that's why Rogue is super strong and super fucking cool.
And can fly and all that
that's
shit.
why Rogue was, and that's why Rogue was like my favorite X-Man, because I'm just like, I'd let her do that to me. I'd let her suck me to death.
Yeah.
I just learned a lot about you, Devon.
Adam, you saying punching a granny on the bus just reminded me of the time Rosie O'Donnell played a mentally challenged woman on a bus.
This has been Insert Title here. Thank you
No.
very much for tuning in.
No, it's only been 53 minutes. We're not leaving right now. God damn it.
I didn't get to talk about what I want to talk about.
Was the
yet.
implication
Yeah,
that you wanted to punch
we've been
Rosie
talking
O'Donnell?
about fucking...
Was the implication that you wanted to punch Rosie O'Donnell?
Who the fuck wouldn't want to punch Rosie O'Donnell? It's
Okay.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Just making sure we have that clear.
I am staying the fuck out of this one.
But do you guys not remember that movie?
No.
No, I've no idea what you're on
Or
about.
series or something? Yeah, she thought it was gonna be like okay, I'm gonna look it up. I looked up the George Takei thing. I can look up the fucking Rosie O'Donnell thing. But it was like
Well,
gonna be an Oscar bait movie.
I'm just throwing it out there, like, as someone who's very aware of the presence of his brand on the internet is starting to get. I am staying the fuck out of topics like that. Oh my god.
No, I was gonna say, but with Miss Marvel, and Endgame, I guess in general, it could have been better. Like I again, it's not my favorite Marvel film. She's not my favorite Marvel character because obviously that's Spider-Man, but I think Infinity War did a good lead in the Endgame. And on the note that Xander doesn't like Endgame, I can understand that because here's the thing. I don't want to sit through that again because you can't just boot up Endgame and start watching it. And I don't want to sit through like 2-3 hours of that again. And it's just, I just don't want to. Like, honestly, I'm be real. I don't own a single Marvel movie, like physically, except for like the old Spider-Man movies and, I think Venom, because I just had a Blu-ray. I don't know why. Yeah, I own Venom on Blu-ray. And then I also got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse because of fucking course I do. But yeah, I just don't think I could sit through that again. I don't think I could sit through Endgame again, and I really don't want to.
Vice Admiral Holdo. That was her name.
So yes, I'm not imagining this movie. Fucking 2005. It's called Riding the Bus with My Sister. It's a TV movie. And she was criticized as being way over the top on that. And they also changed a bunch of the civil rights aspect of the actual memoir that it was based off of.
Oh, wasn't that what they were making fun of with Tropic Thunder?
Yeah, there was one of the performances they were making fun of with Tropic Thunder. Yeah. No, the Tropic Thunder's fucking Simple Jack performance was it was calling shots on a lot of those performances.
I know, like it was that. It was mainly Sean Penn's one. What was the Sean Penn film? You know what? Xander doesn't want about because he's already laughing. What the hell was it called? What the hell was it? Hang on. Sean Penn, I Am Sam, right? Yeah, it was I Am Sam.
I thought that was...
That's the main one they were making fun of.
Never mind. I got them mixed up.
Wasn't Sean Penn also the dude who like tries to do a bunch of activism stuff and then no, that's Colin Farrell. I don't know why I get them confused. Is Colin Farrell Bullseye and Daredevil?
Yes.
Yeah, also incredibly Irish.
Bullseye. I hate that.
Me and Devon both just pointed to our head immediately.
Oh, I hate that fucking movie. It lives in my head rent free.
How can you see into my eyes like open doors?
God,
Leading you right into my core as I become someone without a soul.
So it's interesting.
Thank you, Mark. We'd have been here for the whole song otherwise.
We would have been here for the whole song, and I would have jumped in. But I think it's very interesting that Colin Farrell did Bullseye and also the Penguin. And while his performance as Bullseye is laughable, his performance as Penguin is honestly one of the highlights of the Batman.
Still need to watch that, actually. Still need to watch
Me
that.
too. It's on HBO Max. I have no
Can I
excuse
tell you
not
guys
to watch
something? It's no secret. Batman is not my favorite superhero. He's not even top 5 for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Batman. This Batman movie is like a 9 out of 10.
Really?
It's like a
I grew
9
reading
out
a
of
lot
10.
Batman comics. I grew reading a lot of the older Batman comics, and like when I was reading the previous run, they're like, "Yeah, this is going to intentionally be like Detective Batman." I was like, "Okay." Then I see that Matt Reeves was director attached to it. I'm like, "Okay, you got my attention." I was like, "We'll see who they cast. Let's see who they cast. Let's see who they cast. Let's see who they cast." And then they announced that it's Robert Pattinson, and at the time I had just watched Water for Elephants, and I was like, "Oh." The internet's all freaking out going, "It's the Twilight guy." I'm like, "No, please watch Water for Elephants. Please, this guy can actually
Watch
genuinely
anything
act."
else that he's been in. Anything else that he's been in. He's great.
Like if you want something more recent, of course, is it The Lighthouse with him and William Dafoe going completely fucking berserk? I think it's called Edges, where he's a party boy. Edges, is that the name of it? But that's really damn good as well.
He's also in some movie where he plays a guy who dies on 9/11. It's the stupidest fucking movie, but he's great in it.
But like, I don't get what. I understand why he did Twilight. I understand exactly why he did Twilight, but like, I don't get why now it's been 10 plus years since those films. He's done nothing but bangers since. Like, why are we still calling him the Twilight guy?
Yeah.
Because
That's
that
why
was
they
the one that
Batman.
made the largest cultural impact up until Batman just came out, and I think is going to make an even bigger cultural impact than Twilight ever did. Because honestly, as sick as I am of superhero movies, as much as I'm constantly fucking complaining about that's the only shit being made, Batman legitimately might be a fucking 10 out of 10 to me. It actually fucking like carries what it being a superhero is. It's fucking great, dude. Like, it leans into the hero part, man. It doesn't fucking forget who Batman is and what his fucking mission is. I love it so fucking much, dude. Like, you guys need to watch it.
You know how we constantly have this discussion about when Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man in those movies, and how that conversation sort of has different launching points as to what the right answer could be. The Batman does it really well, where it's like the movie is called The Batman, and in the movie he's been Batman for like 2 years, but he doesn't actually become Batman until towards the end. And it makes it very obvious. And only one character in the entire movie ever calls him Batman. Literally everyone else calls him Vengeance or Mr. Vengeance. And it's not Gordon.
Mr. Vengeance.
It's so fucking good, dude. It's so fucking good.
I'm looking forward to the day where we get a Batman film where like Jim and Batman are on like those friendly terms that I'm so used to them being on, like in the Batman animated series.
We sort of had that in the Nolan trilogy.
You kind of get it in the Batman. And it's not even so much that they're on friendly terms, but they actively work the cases together. And it's like, it isn't just Batman carrying the investigation. Gordon picks up on some shit that Batman misses and brings it to light. And it's just very well done. Honestly, this might also be the best Jim Gordon interpretation.
And you can genuinely tell they care about each other, too.
That's good to know. Because, okay, that alone makes me want to give it a watch now. Because, like, I was watching some of the early episodes of Batman the Animated Series. And there's a part just in the first episode where Batman is just like, "What do you got for me, Jim?" And Jim's like, "We've got some information on Redfoot. They're back in the area." And Batman's like, "Okay, I'll look into it." Blah blah blah. They have a full conversation. He takes off. He's like, "Be careful." And like Jim's just like, "Be careful, friend." I'm just like, when's the last time I've had a Jim Gordon like that? So I don't know. I guess I want to give that a watch. I'm gonna give that a watch for sure.
It's really good.
Yeah, I think literally The Dark Knight was the last time. They tried it in the god-awful Justice League film, but we don't talk about that.
Which one?
Both.
Snyder Bros coming in here.
One of those is a masterpiece!
They're still at it to this day on Twitter.
Yeah, they are.
Still at it, and they're coming into my realm as well, because like there was a very dubious rumor about a year ago now that HBO wanted to do a Game of Thrones style Berserk series, and people were like, yeah, we need Henry Cavill to be Guts, and we want Zack Snyder to direct it, and everyone just went, no, please no. Of all the people who should not be anywhere near that, Zack Snyder is top of the list.
Yeah, it should be Ben Affleck as Guts.
No. I don't think Zack Snyder could get the subtlety that Berserk deserves.
Ben Affleck should write, direct, and star in Berserk. Ben, if you're listening to this, you can do it. You bulked up, motherfucker. You're a good director. You were in Gone Girl, and you showed just about as much emotion as Guts shows in Gone Girl. So you could probably do it, up until the later arcs where stuff happens. But you'll be dead by then. We'll just digitize you and we'll get Jason Griffith to voice it. I specifically only chose that because he's Sonic the Hedgehog's actor, and I was playing Sonic earlier. But also his last name's Griffith, and
Which Sonic?
Obvious joke. Huh?
Which Sonic?
Adventure 2.
I'm kind of in a phase right now myself. I've had a pretty rough week, and honestly, playing the Sonic the Hedgehog games has been helping me through it. I went back and played all of the classics, and then I went and played Generations, and then Mania. It's been a ride. I need to go back and do the adventure games. That's all.
Yeah, sounds like fun. Gosh, when was the last time I even played a classic Sonic game? Actually, no. Me and Adam
we did two the other week.
Yeah, I was about to say we did a race and I beat you.
Race.
Well, whatever. I still won.
Devon wanted to be a race. I just started playing it randomly. So I'm like, I want to play some a classic Sonic game. And he's like, oh yeah, I bet I can beat shit. I'm like, all right.
Wow,
then he's like, I'm racing you. I'm racing you. I'm like, okay.
Huh?
My brain played the Mario music instead of the Sonic music when you said you guys are racing. It went,
actually, so on Twitter, last couple of days or last week or so, the Sonic Twitter or Sega Twitter, I don't remember which one it was, but they're like, what's your favorite zone or what's the best zone in Sonic 1 and 2 and 3?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Yeah, and in Sonic 1, it's Starlight Zone, hands
Without
down.
question.
Yeah, like I don't want to be like, oh, Green Hill Zone, it's a classic. I'm like, no, it's Starlight Hill Zone. It's good music, good mix of speed and platforming, and the boss is actually a fun puzzle. So, yeah.
I've never finished Sonic 1.
You haven't finished Sonic 1?
No, I get to the second zone and I just quit.
That's my issue with Marble Zone. Green Hill does this really good job of setting up what Sonic is all about, with all of this speed and, you know, timing your jumps properly and just being flashy, cool, being of just epicness. And then the first Robotnik fight is also this thing where it's like, well, you can't just rely on your speed. You also have to know your timings and when to jump and when to attack. All of that stuff right out the window for Marble Zone. You do so much standing still and waiting for shit to happen. It just goes completely against the core mechanics of Sonic the Hedgehog. Those moving platforms that go on lava, you can't do shit but wait for them to go across. You have to jump off at the right time, sure, but if you don't, it's not like you're punished for it. You just wait for another one and do it again. And then Spring Yard Zone comes along. And yeah, it's cool. It's a lot about speed, but it's too much verticality. Verticality is the word, Mark. And they put random enemies seemingly out of nowhere that you just run into and lose rings for no reason. And it doesn't feel rewarding to be going so fast. And then there's just more of that standing and waiting around with all of those rising platforms and those elevator moments. Labyrinth Zone is Labyrinth Zone, so it's Sonic water level. So that says all that needs to be said about it. And then you get Starlight Zone, which is the perfect blend of all of the themes that was introduced in Green Hill Zone.
There you go. That's my issue, Mark. So I guess if you want to count cheating with character or their stage select, yeah, I've seen the end of the game. But I've skipped through each of these stages, except I guess that last one, because that doesn't really make any, like, Starlight Zone doesn't really hit any memories for me. But those other ones that you're talking about, I skipped to. I tried to play through. I'm like, this fucking sucks. And I'm just like, I guess by the time I get to the underwater one, I'm just like, well, I guess the rest of the game just isn't as good as Green Hill. And I just skip to the final boss or just stop playing.
And it doesn't help that every time they sort of remake another Sonic game or another Sonic game comes out, they either have a remade Green Hill or some stage that's an homage to Green Hill, and all the focus goes on Green Hill, and no other stage from Sonic 1 gets any sort of attention. When even Scrap Brain, for all of its torture-inducing meat grindiness, is still a pretty memorable stage in that game. Starlight would make an excellent stage to be remade or remastered and put on either the modern adaptation of Sonic or the new classic.
The Mania-esque reboot.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'd love to hear a remix of Starlight Zone. Oh, that'd be great.
A T-Lope Starlight Zone?
Mania 2's...
No.
You never know. Mania 2 is very likely to happen.
I'll play it. I'll play the shit out of it. But then in Sonic 2, I think that was where a lot of people had more divisive answers because there's more good stages there.
Mm-hmm.
I think, what did I say? Did I say Labyrinth Zone?
You said
Mystic Cave.
I
said I think
you went with
Zone.
I almost said Aztec Ruin, Mystic Ruin Zone.
Yeah,
which is
I would go with Chemical Plant Zone myself. Maybe
Chemical Plant was my choice as well.
Night Zone second.
See, I felt like Chemical Plant Zone was kind of like, I don't want to say the cop-out answer, but I feel like that's what everyone said. And when I was a kid, I remember getting extremely frustrated with Chemical Plant Zone because I think it's just because I didn't understand it. Because I would always either die because I got crushed by a block or I drowned. And when I got to the boss, I would die because I was playing with Tails at the time. And we'd get in that loop where we'd hit and sync, but then like it would get desynced and Tails would hit twice or something and I'd fall through and die.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you fucked me again, Tails. So like I always had frustrations with Chemical Plant Zone. But like after that though, I mean, I love the game. And I think I like the Mystic Cave Zone or whatever the hell it's called. It's because I just like its music too.
The music is a bop.
Good music.
It rewards exploration and quick thinking. And that's one of those stages where once you realize that all Sonic stages is broken up into 3 paths, each time you play the game, it's a different experience. Mystic Caves is like one of the best zones for that.
Oh yeah.
The only stage in Sonic 2 that I dislike is Metropolis.
Yeah, another confession.
Oh yeah, like the last one.
I've not finished Sonic 2 either. My favorite stage is characters selecting and skipping, getting all the Chaos Emeralds, and playing the final battle of Super Sonic.
We're gonna make Xander play all the classic Sonic games straight through all the way.
Yeah.
They're about to re-release them all in that massive remaster collection from our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ himself, Christian Whitehead.
You want to know something about
So,
Sonic 3?
What's up?
Never finished it.
Wow. You've never finished the bro. The fucking okay. Death Egg boss music is like amazing.
I don't know why, but when you said Death Egg boss music, my brain went. That's
not even the one because it's like it just goes.
Yeah, Seinfeld theme.
That's Doomsday.
I was talking to Keo. I was talking to Keo about this recently, actually, and Keo was just like, yeah, they didn't get back the guide to the music from Sonic 1 and 2 for 3 because they thought it was going to be too expensive, and I'm like, that's the most Sega shit I've heard in my life, because
so
of course they got Michael
Jackson.
fucking Jackson to do number 3. I'm like, there's no way he was cheaper. There is no way.
I was gonna say I love Sonic 3, and it's weird because that's one I didn't play until I was like in my like mid-late teens. I got a CD that had like Sonic 3 and Knuckles on it. And like I got to play them both back to back on PC. So I didn't get to listen to the Michael Jackson music playing it.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
Exactly.
7 years old, and my dad and uncle each got me one of the cartridges. Like my dad got me Sonic 3, and then my uncle got me Sonic and Knuckles. And they didn't know that they were buying me one complete game. They thought they were each buying me one game with the same character. So when I did that little snap-on technology and threw it in the Genesis, blew their fucking minds. And again, me being 7 kind of blew my mind too. I'm actually kind of miffed that
My favorite
Sega
is-
never revisited that technology throughout the lifespan of the Genesis. But they did use it for the Saturn. But for the console itself.
Did they?
Yeah, you can put like the Saturn on the Mega Drive and snap them in together, and you can play games for either system.
Yeah.
I put my Saturn on a Mega Drive.
I had a Saturn and a Mega Drive, and I didn't know you could do
I
that.
had a Saturn and a Mega Drive.
Wait, Mega Drive or Master System? Because
Mega Drive, the
Drive was-
Genesis.
Mega Drive is what we call the Genesis back in the UK, yeah.
Yeah. I had
Yeah,
no
my favorite thing
idea.
to do with that was to play Sonic 2, but as Knuckles, because you could climb up and get to the really big boy areas.
Fucking.
I
I have another confession to make.
I've got a confession to make. I'm no fool.
I have something wrong in my brain. Let's say that. That
No.
makes it hard for me, if not impossible, to enjoy a majority of older 2D platform games. And my first video game was Toy Story on the PlayStation. Toy Story 2 on the PlayStation.
that'll do it.
And Tekken on the
Okay.
PlayStation.
Okay.
And the first Sonic game I ever played was Sonic Heroes. And I think that's the worst Sonic video game that's ever been created in the entire history of anything. But I will save that rant for a different time because that will take too long. But
Yeah, I need to replay Heroes before I concur with you or disagree with you.
But unironically, my favorite time period of Sonic is when Sonic sucks. From Adventure to 2006, because I don't like Unleashed at all.
That's weird because like there's even the 2D Sonic games that came out on the Game Boy Advance, which
Yeah,
I
so fun
personally
fact.
adore.
I own all of those. The only one I've finished legitimately was Sonic Battle. I used to hack the shit out of Sonic Advance 1 and put my own characters in it, which is the main enjoyment I got out of that one, because that's when I learned how to like replace character sprites and shit like that in video games. It was like a lot of hex editing and stuff. But I never finished any of the Advance games. I cheated and unlocked all the levels, and I liked playing them. But I never. I might have finished 3. I kind of remember finishing 3 because they had the partner system, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I might have finished that one.
3 introduced a partner system, which was very interesting. That's interesting. I see, like, because I didn't own.
That's why when we play Generations together, I was always playing the modern Sonic stages, and you were always doing the classic Sonic stages because I can't fucking stand the classic Sonic stages.
Which is no problem for me because I love doing classic Sonic stages. They're fun.
Yeah.
So 2 things. So 1, I I think I get it because you're more attuned to like 3D games than 2D games. Side scroller specifically, because you had no problem playing Pokemon growing up. Clearly, you don't have a problem with 2D games. It's
Well,
just
that
the
goes back to the
side-scrolling.
thing I said about aliens. The Pokemon are adorable, and adorable things make me want to experience it, whether I actually like the thing or not.
Right, but like with your formative years were playing more 3D games, like whereas for me growing up, like I didn't really get to touch 3D games. Like I was like maybe 5 or 6, and I got to play the occasional Nintendo 64 game when I would go visit my cousins and I'd play their Nintendo 64. But that was it. Like I didn't own a 3D console until I had my Sega Saturn, and even then I didn't have any 3D games for it except for like a demo disc of Panzer Dragoon. So I got to play like one stage, and that was it. And most of my time was spent playing side-scrolling action games or fighting games. So I didn't really get into the more 3D aspect of video games until I was, I don't know, 13, 14.
Yeah.
And I was playing, and I still did side-scrolling stuff. But the other thing I want to touch upon, so Mark, I know exactly what that is. He shared a picture in our group chat here. That's a Sega CD.
Yeah, and the 32X. I misspoke.
And if yeah, okay, I was about to say, because like the Saturn and the CD are two different things. But yeah, no, the 32X, it's funny you bring that up because me and Ale watched the Angry Video Game Nerd episode where he talked about the 32X and how like cumbersome it was and how like you had to plug everything into this just to get to work. And then there weren't that many games for it that even worked with it. So I was just like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah. But that's the only other thing that Sega ever did that used that stacking technology that they did with Sonic and Knuckles.
Actually, no. There's actually one other thing I can think of. Actually, they did a adapter for the Genesis / Mega Drive, which let you play Master System games using the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sega base converter, power base converter. Is that what it's called?
Hella fine.
I think the biggest effect on my gaming experience was the year was 1997. Final Fantasy VII had just come out, and my dad had been playing Final Fantasy since the SNES. He decided that with that tax return that year, he was going to spend all the money to get a PlayStation 1 so he could play Final Fantasy VII. And he played that game in front of me and my sister and named Red 13 after me. And that pretty much poisoned my entire life. Because for the longest time, I refused to play as anything that wasn't an RPG. Because to me, Final Fantasy VII was the video game.
That was me, 10 years old when that game came out. And I
was
watched
4.
I watched my uncle play it. And at the time, I didn't have a PlayStation yet. So anytime I was exposed to Final Fantasy VII, it was when I'd go visit my uncle and watch him play for a bit. And every single time I watched him play, he was at a different part of the story, so I never get the full experience. And then I think the next year, that same year, I got my PlayStation, but later, like for Christmas or something. And then I only had like Crash Bandicoot and Tekken. And my uncle was like, "Do you still want to play this game? Do you want to check this out?" And I was like, "Yeah." So he gave me the game, and then because he's a boomer, didn't realize how this worked, he also gave me his controller and his memory card. Like, yeah, those other parts I didn't need, but whatever, I'll take them.
Yeah.
And at first, I just loaded up his save file and just fucked around and just did whatever. And it wasn't until I started my own save file that I really got into it. And then my aunt had died, and it was a family member that we were all really close to, so it hit us all really hard, and it had that reverberating effect where me as a kid, I don't truly grasp what the actuality of loss is or why it's so painful for everyone just yet. But I'm still young enough that I'm leeching off of the emotions of everyone around me, and the hurt that my mom was going through, and my stepdad, and then my aunts and uncles and everyone else. That is what kind of pushed me into a really low state. And because of the way the family dynamic had shifted, I didn't get to spend much time with my mom or anyone else. I was left home by myself with my brothers and sister. And so all I would do really was play Final Fantasy VII. So that, in combination with really weird emotional feelings jumping around and having to be, a big brother for 3 other kids, and this game that my uncle just gave to me because I thought it looked cool, it just completely it hit all of the right notes or whatever, where that is the most impactful video game of my entire life. When you get to the part where, spoiler alert, Aerith bites the bucket or kicks the bucket.
What?
Bites the bullet.
No!
Aerith dies?
Wasn't there a hentai site?
Fuck my
Yeah, it was
healer.
called Eris Dies. I
Yeah.
used to go there all the time as a kid and wank.
Anyway, Adam.
So losing a character in game that I had grown close to around the same time I lost a family member that I was close to really resonated with me for the rest of my whole life. I was able to process death and loss a little bit better, and I didn't discover this until I was already 30 at least, where I'm watching video retrospectives on the Final Fantasy game, and you talk about how the director of Final Fantasy VII, Nojima, said that when he was making the game and writing out the plot, he had lost his mother. And so one of the main core themes of the games was loss and coming to terms with grief that stems from that loss. But the whole thing came full circle. It is single-handedly the most important video game of my entire life. It isn't just my favorite Final Fantasy. It's like the most important game.
Yeah. I totally get that there, because I'm in the same boat when it comes to like a game hitting you at the right time and like affecting you in such a way that it never leaves you. Because I've talked about before, for me it's Fire Emblem Awakening. That game came to me at the right time in my life and when I needed it, and I think it worked out for the best for me, obviously. So and I don't have to talk at length about it, but I think if it weren't for the fact that I got into it after these wedges had started to form between me and my family, I don't know where I would be today. So I feel you there.
These things are just silly little toys for kids to pass time with. Video games are very much art, but also they are a way of understanding and processing the things that go on inside of us.
For me, it's Ocarina of Time.
That's another good one.
Without it, I don't meet Liz. Without it, I don't know what the hell I do during that period of my life between about 11 and 15, where a lot of things are going on. I don't know what the hell I'd really be doing, period, actually, now I think about it. Yeah, that hit me at the exact moment. I don't want to get too deep into it, because I've already cried once in this podcast. But, like, yeah.
Just a safe space.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? That's Xander's job.
Yeah. I agree with Mark. I feel like 7's not my favorite game, like, of all time. I don't know what that is anymore, because the Mass Effect remasters kind of ruined that. And then Neo: The World Ends With You and like the remake of 2OE kind of make me kind of not like The World Ends With You as much right now. I'm still trying to figure that out. So I don't really know what my favorite is, but 7's definitely the most important one of all time for me, because without my dad being so passionate about that game, I never would have got introduced to video games. Without him naming a character after me, I wouldn't have paid attention like I did to it. The whole reason I started playing Toy Story and Tekken and Spyro and stuff as a kid was so that way I could train to become better at video games, so that way I could actually play Final Fantasy VII when I grew up. Literally, like, words out of my mouth. A bunch of the dumb characters that like I've come up with now and the dumb names I spout off were names that I named Cloud and Barret at the beginning of the game because I couldn't get past the fucking the Scorpion for just the longest time because the mistranslation or the weird way it cuts off when it says attack while the tail is up. I'm like, okay, and then it blasts me, and because I'm not waiting for it to say and it'll counterattack. Also, I'm like 4 or 5, so I can't read like very well. I just see attack and I'm like, okay. Fucking. Without that, I wouldn't have been so passionate about video games. I wouldn't have explored a bunch of other video games in order to get better to play it one day and all that stuff. I wouldn't have explored, like I said, Spyro, which like still holds a fucking like huge place in my heart and shit. And like, there's a reason why like I like 3D platformers and stuff. And without them, I wouldn't have got into Ratchet and Clank and all that shit. Like, there's just a bunch of shit that I got into because of it.
And is that
because my dad was like PlayStation.
It doesn't even just stop at video games, because Final Fantasy VII also made me explore music composition. It gave me an appreciation for orchestrated music and really big production pieces, it got me into storytelling and character creation because I wanted to think up worlds and put people in those worlds that were fun and interesting and cool. So just between Final Fantasy VII and Dragon Ball, I just wanted every single character I ever came up with to be really fucking cool.
And have spiky hair.
Well, yeah,
I was obsessed with drawing characters.
That's
with
a
spiky
given.
hair. Oh, dude, that was my shit. I used to the first song I ever remembered was the fucking just the main like battle theme of 7, and I used to like be like, "Hey, Dad, go get in a battle. I want to hear the song." He's like, "I'm doing something right now." There's like, like, just go get in a battle. He's like, "They're talking. I can't." I'm like, Dad, like, fuck off.
See, okay. So when it comes to drawing characters, enjoying characters, and expanding what we like, so there was a point when I was like in 8th grade where I was really enjoying drawing Dragon Ball Z characters. Like, I would draw them in just different situations and shit, but you could tell it's Dragon Ball Z characters. Now, I will admit I am not the best artist. I'm a terrible artist. I can't draw for shit, but I was having fun and I was doing it. And if I had kept doing it, I'd gotten better. So one day I was drawing a picture of Gohan, I think specifically. I don't remember exactly what the picture was, but I showed it to my friend who I knew was a good artist, and she laughed at it, and it made me never want to draw again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it Gohan Blanco?
No, it was just Gohan. It was Super Saiyan Teen Gohan.
I think I met my high school best friend and the godfather of my son in high school because he was this dude I used to bully. I used to pick on him, and just anytime he had books or some shit on his desk, I just walk by and just push it to the floor. And then one time I took his backpack and I emptied it out onto the floor just to fuck with him, and one of the books that fell out was the sketchbook. So he picks it up, and one of the pages is a drawing of Majin Vegeta. I'm like, yo, that's the dopest fucking drawing I've ever seen in my life. And I looked through more of the sketches and shit, and he's really fucking talented. And from that day, I stopped fucking with him. I would talk to him and engage with him, and we'd draw together and shit. He's now one of my best friends.
The power of Majin Vegeta. Real shit though, Majin Vegeta is probably the sickest like form of a Dragon Ball. Yeah, it's dope as fuck, dude.
I appreciate it's a really cool character and a really great moment in that series, but all I can think of when I think of Majin Vegeta these days is fucking you, Devon, on fucking Twitter. When you just tweet, was it you fucking tweeted out? It was something like, "Hey, can anyone help me out with Bofa?" And someone goes, "What's Bofa?" And immediately he quote tweets it with the fucking Majin Vegeta leaning back with the punch, like, nah, and immediately it's, "Bofa these nuts!"
I don't remember. I don't think it was Bofa because I feel like Bofa was obvious. I think it was either. I think it was either Goblin or Sagandis. I don't remember which one it was.
It was one of them, but I'm just like, for God's sake, that's all I can think of these days whenever I think of that. It's just that moment.
I think it was like, I was talking about like, man, I wonder when Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really going to make a better Goblin archetype. And they're like, Goblin archetype? I'm like, yeah, Goblin these nuts. And then like, and I hit him with it, but I did the Vegeta like, grin. I'm like, he has no idea what's going.
That's all I can think of. Majin Vegeta has been thoroughly ruined for me now, particularly that. Well, to be fair, it was all he really ever used as it was that frame of him.
I love that gif. I adore that gif. Like whenever someone falls right into your trap and that you set, and you're just like, yes, like that's the perfect gif. Like that gif goes through my brain whenever I play like the perfect play in Yu-Gi-Oh, like, or I've got like this hand trap that my opponent's not expecting, or my face down card was bait and they fell for it. I just get like, that plays in my brain. It's just like Majin Vegeta smile .gif.
I get that. I used to, when I was back in my fighting game days, I used to get a lot with Kami nonsense, because there's always if the Kami is backing up and has a block of meter, and you're playing Sagat or Ryu, or particularly a Fireball heavy character with zoning characteristics, I'm going to EX Hooligan you. Because that's exactly what I'm baited to do. And I see the characters like this, I'm like, yeah. And thank you, and here's free damage, and because it's a hard knockdown, and because it's Kami, thank you for the unblockable setup.
10 out of 10.
God bless Street Fighter 4. Best game ever made.
You know what the best fighting game actually is? American Tail 5 Goes West on PlayStation.
Huh?
Yeah. Have you not played that one?
Can't tell.
Okay, so 5 Goes
You're
West.
gaslighting me.
What? No, I'm not gaslighting you. So it has like fucking like 3D backgrounds, but the characters are sprites. It's like this weird thingy. So like it's got like a third dimension to it. You know how Tekken has like the sidestepping?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that, but you're like pixels, so the camera doesn't like change the angle. It's fucking weird. But yeah, fucking Fievel can use a gun in it. It was really weird. I played it a lot as a kid. My uncle sent it to me, and there's a bunch of things that came with Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
I'm sorry, you said PS1?
Yeah, PS1. This
Fievel Goes West.
Yeah, Fievel Goes West.
It's not a PS1
Yeah,
game.
it's a PS1 game.
No, it's a Super Nintendo game. You're fucking with me. Derail the shit out of this right the fuck now. You're not gonna gaslight me on this one.
I'm not
Fievel
gaslighting
can use
you.
a gun.
We need to stop using gaslighting as a fucking general term.
Then
Gaslighting.
stop mansplaining,
Gaslighting is implying
manipulating,
that I'm
and
using your mental illness to then recontextualize a perspective of events that you've already been through to then make you remember them differently as if you were the one that perpetuated them. I'm not gaslighting you. I'm telling you, American Tail, Fievel Goes West on PlayStation goes hard.
it's a Super Nintendo game.
It can be on Super Nintendo too. Fucking Toy Story 2's on Nintendo 64 and PlayStation. I almost called it Nintendo 64.
Nintendo Snixty Snore.
Because I'm like SNES, Nintendo.
It's the SNES. It's fucking Nickelodeon's guts on SNES. Oh my god. Okay, before we go off the rails again, I feel like this is gonna happen. There was one thing I did want to talk about, and it was goddamn Red Eyes Black Dragon. Let's talk about him. This again, he says.
Yeah, because I wanted you to react
Speaking
like
of
that,
gaslighting.
so you could go onto a tangent with some righteous fury into it. So, this again.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, you want righteous fucking fury? I'll give you righteous fucking fury, you blue eyes white dragon dipshit. Here's the thing. I unironically think Red Eyes Black Dragon is infinitely cooler than Blue Eyes White Dragon. Not only from a design standpoint, but due to the fact that it has way cooler fusion material and fusion cards and just support in general. Like, all the Red Eyes support is cooler. It's not as good as Blue Eyes, I will admit, but it's cooler. Unironically, it's cooler.
I will agree with Devon purely on the fact that as a zombie user, we have a peace agreement with the Red Eyes users, and we embrace each other entirely for the memes. And mostly for our brain dead shenanigans.
You get a zombie version of the Red Eyes, which is cool. I mean, like, there's no
three versions of it now in zombie version.
I mean, there is technically a zombie Blue Eyes, but it's like the Paladin of Zombie Dragon or whatever, and it's not the same.
That dies.
But like Blue Eyes just like stays in its own archetype. It doesn't branch out or go anywhere else.
Yeah, it's a Blue Eyes alt white dragon. It's it's all about keeping
Blue
it
Eyes
clean
what
and clean.
dragon? Still love that story, but like again, hands down, like it's better because it's got cooler archetype support. Like it branches out into other archetypes, different fusions, like different just everything is cool about it. And it's just Blue Eyes is just like, I can only play with these kids and that's it.
Yeah, it's got to be very selective and
Because when you're so cool,
can't be.
why do you need
Can't be
to
seen mixing
mesh
with the,
and
rest
mingle with everything else that's out there? The Blue Eyes Red Dragon is already so powerful that to lower itself to mingle with zombies, with fusion. I already have a fusion. It's just 3 of me. That's all I need.
And
I
then
mean,
on
of
top
course,
of that,
now there's
on
more.
top of that, you have another fusion that's also 3 of you, another fusion that's also 3 of you, a different fusion that's 2 of you that can be fused without anything besides just making the pee-pees kiss. And you can hang out with my boy Alistair.
That's right.
See, okay, you're right. Sometimes Red Eyes might be weak, and sometimes it might even give in.
Oh, yes. There we go. But deep down, you've learned
That there is a power that never goes out,
Brooklyn.
and it's the power of friendship.
For fuck's sake, Devon.
No, seriously, look at Red Eyes. It has so much support from its friends. Where's Blue Eyes' support come from? Itself and a cult?
The galaxy, bitch.
You want to know why Red Eyes?
No.
You want to know why Red Eyes Black Dragon has red eyes? Because Blue Eyes White Dragon is his weed dealer. And that's how Blue Eyes White Dragon supports himself. By selling weed to Red Eyes Black Dragon. So, you're trying to start a feud between them, when actually,
They're homies.
Blue Eyes is his weed guy. And you don't have anybody closer than your weed guy.
Devon, can you get to the Funko Pop, please, before I lose my damn brain listening to the ramblings of this madman?
What about the Funko
For the
Pop?
record, I don't like either of the dragon cards. Like, just from a aesthetic standpoint.
The claws. You on about before we started? The number of claws. How many?
Oh,
claws have
right.
Red
Yeah,
Eyes
the whole reason I brought up Red Eyes Black Dragon is because I have a Red Eyes Black Dragon Funko Pop for whatever reason, and it only has like 3 claws on its hand, and I was just like, wait a second, this has 4 claws. What? No, Red Eyes Black Dragon has 4 claws. What's happening here? I was going like literally insane. I'm like, am I misremembering? Do I not remember properly? Like, I thought this had like 4 claws. Turns out, the original artwork of Red Eyes Black Dragon has 3 claws, but every artwork made after has 4.
Devon, I would just like to say that you were closer to gaslighting yourself than I even remotely got with American Tail 5 Goes West on PlayStation.
You were getting gaslit by the Red Eyes Black Dragon.
You actually were like closer to gaslighting yourself because you were going insane and almost convincing yourself you were misremembering. So yes, you were closer to gaslighting yourself than I have ever gotten to gaslighting you in my life. Continue.
No, I mean that was really it. I was just going crazy, but and then it's just kind of funny that they based the Funko Pop after the first art and none of the other orcs that came out.
Probably because just 3 fingers is easier. It probably was less about basing it off the art.
I don't think easier is a problem with Funko Pops because, like, yeah, they're low effort, but like I also have like the Stardust Dragon Funko Pop. That fucker is massive.
Yeah, so is my cock, but I don't go around fucking mass producing it for everybody to touch.
Does it have 3 claws?
No, let's go all 5.
So if you're done with the Red Eyes, can I talk about why I'm kind of done with modern Yu-Gi-Oh meta?
Yeah, go for
Yeah,
it.
you know what? Actually, I would like to have this conversation.
All
To
right.
put Yu-Gi-Oh in the tags again.
So I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh since its inception. Before the Yugi and Kaiba starter decks, when you just had that one pack you had to buy and hope for the best, and they didn't come with a booklet with rules or anything, that was like peak Yu-Gi-Oh for me. Because I was doing shit like in the anime, where the first season you can just set 3 cards and summon all the monsters in your hand and just go at it like you were playing Pokemon. And then when I got the actual rules and you can implement strategy and stuff, it was even better. It was a great time. Now, Yu-Gi-Oh has this really funny thing where I'll get really into it and then just drop it. And then 3 or 4 years later, it'll pop up in my life again somehow. I stopped playing the card game. I went to a bunch of locals when I really got into it when it first came out. And this was after the whole starter and structure decks were widely available. So I wasn't getting stomped by cards I could only get by winning local tournaments. And that was a highlight of my teenage years. And then I put it down for a bit. I was trying to be sexy and finger fuck everybody. I got my high school girlfriend pregnant. And then one day, when she moved in with me and we were making space for her stuff in my closet, I pulled out the big old box of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that we all have. And she's looking through it and she goes, "Can you teach me how to play this? This looks fun. Is it just like on the show?" And I go, "No, it's better." And that's one of the things that we did together as a couple. I taught her how to play, how to build a deck. And then at the time, the meta had shifted a little bit, where now there's newer cards and newer ways to play. Virtual monsters were a thing. And it wasn't just... this is back when...
It was around like the effect monster time.
Right, when the effect monsters were
before
big.
Before Synchro, but
yeah, they stopped calling them magic cards because of the obvious MTG thing. And
so
they stopped...
Sorry, it sounds like so around the time it was just like when Cyber Dragon was a big thing, Dark Arm Dragon around that area. Okay.
Like the Chaos Emperor Dragon era.
Okay, the one of the best GOAT format basically.
Yes. And that's when we got into it again. And then my kid was born and I had to find work. She and I split up. I was miserable. And then my kid is maybe 3 or 4 years old, where he finds my Yu-Gi-Oh cards and he's like, "These look cool. How do you play these?" And I teach him how to play using the old rule books and stuff. And we play just using that same old collection that we had. We didn't go out and find any of the newer decks. We didn't get familiar with any of these formats. We just used what we had and we'd play. And it was fun. We'd go back and forth, beating each other, learning about it, bonding and shit. And then I was like, damn, I really do miss this. I wonder what the game is like now. And because I couldn't participate or play in any locals anymore, the next best thing was the video games. And there were a handful of games on the Game Boy Advance and the PSP that were just one-for-one adaptations of the card games. So that was that was how I played. And that's when I learned about synchro monsters. And I was like, shit, these are fucking cool. I'm back in. I'm buying cards from game stores. I'm buying individual cards online. I'm building a whole other deck. And this is it. I'm back in. And then I'm playing with my brother. I'm playing with my son. And I'm not competing anymore, but I'm into it again. But then it kind of dies down a little bit. I shift jobs. I get catfished. That ruins me. I'm just in another slump. I let it go. Master Duel comes out. I'm like, all right, fine. I used to play this back in the day. Let's give it a shot. So I jump in, and naturally, I'm over my head. Like, what the fuck are Xyz monsters? What the fuck what is Link summoning? What are you doing? Why are there so many cards on the field? It's your first turn. But I figured this was the natural progression of the game. It was always going to be like this. So I'll just learn, because that's what I've always done. So I learn, and I do have fun with it. Genuine fun with it. But now I feel like the novelty has worn off, and everyone is playing the same decks the same way, and it's just not fun anymore. Turn 1, you summon 3 monsters, you special summon 2 more monsters who fuse into each other to summon 2 more monsters, and then before I know it, you've got the Nutsack Dragon on the field with 6,000 attack points, and every boss monster has the same effect. They can negate everything. They can not be destroyed by battle or card effects. They can remove something from the field if they blink. If you fart twice during the match, you get to step up to your opponent's mom and slap them. Every boss monster has the same effects. To the point where no matter what archetype you're playing in your deck, you're still including the boss monster because of those effects. They're too good not to play. Yeah. And because everyone is playing those and trying to get to that boss monster as fast as you can, now you have to put hand traps in your deck that don't match your archetype whatsoever. So now you're not playing a plant-themed deck. You're not playing a zombie-themed deck. You're playing Ash Blossom, Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, and a handful of other staples with a couple of plants or zombies thrown in. You're not playing where your boss monster is a big super plant or a big super zombie. Your boss monster has a big super plant or a big super zombie, but you also have that nutsack dragon waiting in the wings. You also have whatever the new
Ash
shit
Blossom
is.
does what with zombie decks, but only because Ash Blossom is itself a zombie.
I use that excuse myself with my zombie deck as well. She's not only a zombie, but a tuner and a great hand trap. So even if I don't have to use her effect, putting her on the field to synchro summon into one of my Shiranui zombies makes her viable.
Oh, you're Shiranui, right? Yeah, I'm Doom King, so like
Doom King's in that deck as well. Doom King is the true boss monster of my Shiranui deck. But again, that deck also has shit
zombie.
Like,
negate and remove.
Yeah, and then it's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna play strict zombies, strict Shiranui. So I don't have Maxi in that deck. I don't have Effect Veiler in that deck. I don't have Crossout Designator in that deck. I just have all shit that pertains to that archetype. And because I'm putting myself at a clear disadvantage by not including all the staple hand traps and shit. I'm not winning a whole lot. But I don't mind that I'm not winning. But I also feel like I'm not learning. The second you see a person play one card, you know what their entire deck is like. You know their whole deck list based off of their first play, because anyone who's playing any deck a certain way has to do it optimally, or else they just do not get far. And that takes the fun out of it. I miss seeing deck variety and weird perky shit that catches me by surprise. And sometimes, yeah, you'll see the odd person's, this is this new way of playing the Exodia deck, or fucking I have the anti-Nutsack Dragon deck. And it's like, sure, but you wouldn't have to do that if there wasn't a Nutsack Dragon to begin with. If everyone wasn't playing Nutsack Dragon, you could truly play what you want and enjoy it. And that's why I feel like, the ranked duels and stuff in Master Duel, they've just lost their luster to me. I don't really care anymore. So I like event stuff sometimes, but even that, a lot of the people who are doing really good in that aren't technically playing the event approved decks. Like when the what was the one before the Fusion Festival? It was Synchros, right?
Synchro.
People were playing
True Draco.
Yeah, True Draco or Winged Dragon of Raw decks. It's like, why?
And the same thing happened. The only event that didn't really do anything like that was the Xyz event, but the Xyz event had its own problems with the self TKs, which was annoying. But no, I mean, I get where you're coming from, Mark. So I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh since it came out, like 2002, whatever, 2004, in that range. And I've been going through it. But here's the thing: I didn't ever really play locals. I never got to go locals, so I didn't really play the competitive scene. I only played with my friends, and I played with what cards I had. And this is what I think the big issue is with Master Duel and returning players in Yu-Gi-Oh in general, is that in a competitive scene, you're going to go in and play the decks that work in those competitive scenes and do what wins. And that's not what people are used to, because you're playing a ranked format. You're playing to get higher in the ranks and place higher. And when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid, I never played like that. I never played to go to locals. I never played to win tournaments. I never played to do this stuff. I played with my friends, and I played the decks I had access to because I didn't have money. I didn't have a job. My parents didn't buy me cards or anything. I would just get the cards I'd get, and I'd have to play with those. Like, I had no options. But that's what made it the most fun to me. When I started getting money, yeah, I got to play with more cards. I mean, but I didn't get to do like all the super like crazy strategies and stuff like that. And I'm kind of in the same boat with you, where I like to play my deck, the deck I want to play, pure archetype. Like, I don't like including hand traps and staples, stuff like that, because it's just like, it takes the fun out of it for me, because it's just like, well, it doesn't really go with my deck, but I have to play if I want to win. And I've noticed that for me, like, I still play stuff like Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon almost pure. Like, I barely run any like negates in that. And then I run like, the only decks I run that like actually play meta cards was like my Jack's Knight deck, which has a whole bunch of stuff in it. But even then, like, it's going into a boss monster that's either a one-hit kill or a boss monster that like pops your board and you can't stop me. And the Fusion Festival that's going on right now, a big issue is everyone's playing DPE. It's a big issue
over, even outside of the Fusion Festival.
Yeah, even in actual Yu-Gi-Oh in real life, it's a big issue. And then in Yu-Gi-Oh in ranked mode, it's a big issue because everyone's playing fucking DPE. Everyone's playing Destiny Phoenix Enforcer, Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, or Double Penetration Enthusiast.
Double
whatever.
Penetration Enthusiast? I'm listening now.
Yeah, DPE. But like, everyone's playing it, and it's annoying because it's just like, that's the only card you ever see. And like, I get how it's fun for some people. I get why people enjoy playing Yu-Gi-Oh at that level, because it's just like, it's a competitive sense. But just like, a lot of people just want to play the decks they want to play and have a good back and forth game. And you can't really do that in these ranked formats. In anything that inspires a competitive sense, it's hard to really play Rogue and expect to do good.
Yeah.
Now, and I think that's just an issue with older Yu-Gi-Oh players, because newer Yu-Gi-Oh players, from what I've seen, have adapted to it pretty quickly. Like Ale, she plays Crystal Beasts, but she has shit like Verte Anaconda and Nibiru and Rainbow Neos and Access Code Talker and like fucking IP Masquerena, you know, all these fucking really good cards that she's rocking. Yeah. And it's just, and she plays it just like you would competitively. Like, she does it to good results. So me, I had to step up my game and get to that point now. And when I play with my decks, you know, I can't go back to the way I used to play. But playing GOAT format, like, I had a stream with my friend Clinton, me, his wife, Ale, and another one of his friends. We all played a GOAT format roundtable, and that was like some of the most fun Yu-Gi-Oh I have had in a lifetime. And I think if Konami really wants people to get into buying more physical Yu-Gi-Oh media or play Master Duel more, they need to introduce stuff like more speed formats, speed duels. Those were a lot of fun. Like the new speed duel box. Yeah, the new speed duel box that came out, I had a blast playing that with Ale. And then the GOAT format is fantastic too. Like, everyone should be playing GOAT format because it's just a hell of a time. So I think if Konami wants to make more people play the game, add that stuff.
So, Devon, I hate to ruin your pouring your heart out thing right now with some really horrible things I just read on fucking Twitter. But apparently, since we just went live earlier, the Silent Hill rumor has evolved, involving Bloober Team, and it's that Bloober Team may or may not be working on a full-fledged Silent Hill 2 remake. Which, that's ruined my entire fucking evening. Because that invokes... someone I saw just put up a tweet which summed it up best. That invokes the same feelings in me as Quantum Dream Star Wars.
God, why did you remind me of the Quantum Dream Star Wars?
Because they've gone intentionally silent on it, because I don't think they want anyone to remember they're still working
Fucking
on it.
hell.
Remember,
we did get a title
David
for the...
Cage doesn't make games for F-words.
I can't fucking believe that guy
Jesus
sometimes,
Christ.
man. Fucking...
You know the one video game David Bowie worked on was a David Cage game?
This has been insert title here. Thank you for listening.
No, hang on. That was a David
please.
Cage game?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
one of my David Cage. Words. Yeah, it's a David Cage game. It's before he did Fahrenheit and whatever it was called in the States. But yeah. This has been Insert Title here podcast. Subscribe to the boobies and...
I think Xander's still processing this. Hold on. Give him a second.
Let him process.
broke his entire
Let
soul.
him process.
Although we did get a title for a little bit of good news for the Fallen Order sequel. And they're not just going with Jedi Fallen Order 2. It's going to be Star Wars Jedi: Survivor. Which is pretty neat. And I was one of the first people when the first game was announced that was a bit miffed that you were just playing as the Galaxy's Edge Scrimblow Bimblow and not making your own character who's a Jedi survivor. But Cal Kestis quickly warmed up to me.
Cal Kestis from Galaxy's End.
Sure, Xander. So
That's what you just said. He's from Galaxy's End?
I forget. Galaxy's End is the name of the Star Wars themed area in Disneyland.
So they took a character from Disneyland, is what you're telling me.
I was just saying that he was just the equivalent of some random schmuck.
Okay, I took
that
you
they
completely
had-
fucking literally. I took you completely literally. I'm like, Cal Kestis from fucking Disneyland?
That would be
weird.
awful. That would be fucking awful. But yeah, the initial reaction was that everyone was mad that it was just this pre-generated some guy with a lightsaber that you were forced to play as, that they had built up for you, as opposed to making your own. And then after the game came out and people got to play it, and like, oh shit, this is actually pretty cool. It was like Star Wars and Uncharted and Dark Souls, which are three things that should actively anger me, but the game was surprisingly pleasant. Didn't mind it.
Almost
So,
like
yeah.
Resident Evil.
Pretty stoked for sequel.
Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba.
Okay.
I'm actually I'm gonna stream all of the Resident Evil games like in a row at some point.
Hell yeah. I did that.
You're the one who gave me watching you do it is what gave me the inspiration to do it. And I was like,
Who's going to be a co-op partner for 5 and 6?
I was just going to play the remakes for 1 and 2 and all of them. But if I do need someone for 5 and 6, I know that you guys already did it at one point, so that's where I'm looking. I know that 6 has a multiple campaigns, so I get to pick and choose who gets to suffer with me.
I didn't get to pick and choose. I was stuck without him for the entire campaign.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. I was at least making it fun.
Oh shit, Mark. Speaking of the Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, apparently they're doing a crossover with Come with the Clown next month. So there's going to be a whole archetype
No,
out with Come with the Clown.
no.
This is
Devon,
an insert title here podcast.
hang on,
Thank you
hang
so much
on,
for
hang
listening.
on,
Go to the
Devon,
description,
Devon,
check
hang
all the
on,
links for
hang
everything.
on.
This
Go
is
to
an insert
Spotify,
title
stream
here.
the South
Listen
African
to me.
music,
Things,
Go to
go
the
do the
YouTube and
stuff,
follow the me.
go do
He
the
can
rest.
only be
Twitch
removed from the
Mark
field by coming
Show.
on your opponent.
Go to the Twitch. Go to the twitch.tv/DevonRVO and follow. And that's been it. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Come with the Clown is coming.
And I'm hitting
Not
stop.
if I negate his summon.
I'm hitting